So what does it say, the choice of school? Is it that important? How do you tailor the school to your particular son or daughter? Let's speak with Lorrae Yarderberg, who's director of educational consultancy firm Yarderberg Craze. How do you choose which school for a particular child?
Good morning, Nick.
Good morning. May I call you Lorrae? Is that all right?
Please do.
Okay, Lorrae, how do you know if you're doing the right thing by your son or your daughter?
I think this is a very difficult question for all parents, and we spend a huge amount of time working with parents through these questions. I think in the initial phase, what's most important is to think about your child and to think about their strengths, their weaknesses, and where they would thrive. And that would take you in the direction of visiting several schools that you would be able to look at in the first instance. And I'm talking about state schools in the first instance. For the private sector, you can look at any school you like, actually. So it's a slightly different problem. But the two go side by side if you're considering one or the other, or both.
Yeah.
So the first issue is always to look at the child and look at where would suit the child best.
Mm-hmm. She's 10.
And I would hope in this situation that that's exactly what the Camerons have been doing.
Yes.
They're in a fortunate position to live in a part of London where they've got very good state schools that they can look at.
Yes.
And they will be comparable with the state sector. And so they will have gone out thinking about that. And clearly, in this situation, they've got lots of choice.
So a school such as Eton or Harrow or Marlborough or whatever wouldn't necessarily be right for every boy or every girl?
No, absolutely not. And I think that the first question is always what's right for my child, and look at those realistic options, and that will drive the decision as to what should happen next. There are other considerations such as finances, of course, with the private sector, and other considerations for each child. And in detail, when we're working with families and parents, we will go through each one of those considerations and make sure that parents aren't shortlisting too narrowly in the early stages before they've been out to look at schools, to talk to schools, and to really ask their own children what they think about the schools as well. And then slowly, with no rush, come up with a decision which everybody feels comfortable with in the end.
How real is the danger that you don't allow your child to mix with, quotes, normal children, whatever that might be, if they do go to a private school?
It depends on which part of the country you are living, actually, and also the type of school and the ethos of the school. So when we go visiting our head teachers around in the private sector, we spend a lot of time understanding the ethos of a school, what they're trying to promote, what values, and then we try to match those with families. So we would say to families very early on in a discussion, this is what this school puts forward as their ethos. And families will say, straight away, well, that's not for us. And we'll say, good. Well, that's a good decision because culturally your child isn't going to be happy in that school. So it's really about matching your personal family culture with a school.
That's Lorrae Yarderberg. Lorrae, thank you. Director of the educational consultancy firm Yarderberg Craze. That's J as in Juliet, ARDERBERG, new word Craze, beginning with a K as in kilo. Yarderberg Craze. Lorrae, thank you. Chris in South